Someone recently interviewed the president of Fujifilm, and he's a nice guy, and I think he's a very pleasant person. But I actually got a little peeved. Actually, I got more than peeved when he asked the president of Fujifilm. He said something like, "When is the price going to come down on these cameras?" Like, what are you talking about? Most people out there in the photographic world didn't grow up with medium format like me. Haven't been watching what the hell medium format digital cameras cost for the past 10 years. Even up until just, well, even now. Like, they're really, really, really frigging expensive cameras. Right now, I'm seeing used GFX 50Rs for like $2,800. The average is like $3,400 US. By the way, this is my favorite camera in the world. It's like, why not your GFX 100, which costs you $10,000? That's a killer camera, but I mean, this is just an easy one to rough about with. You know, just grab it and head out and do something. You're not, kind of really worried about it. I have insurance on all these cameras, the really expensive ones, that is. All my medium format cameras, and I have all the GFX. I'm glad I jumped on the GFX train early on because I knew Fujifilm killed it on the GFX series, and when the first camera came out, I jumped on it as quick as I could to buy it. And I told people, I was like, Fujifilm is not making a line of lenses for one damn camera. And of course, then the GFX 50R came out, then the GFX 100, and I have all three of them. Right now, it is the case that I obviously don't need three medium format cameras. I was going to sell my GFX 50S, even though it's incredible. But to make my point, the price on that camera is so cheap used right now, I can't justify selling it for what its going price is. I mean, literally, there's never been a point in time where medium format was like that. Fujifilm has literally slaughtered everybody, in a roundabout way, on medium format. I mean, Hasselblad and Pentax, were saying years ago when the 50S came out, and are still saying, oy vey, we can't make any money at this. I think Hasselblad actually gave up. There's some cameras, and I forget the exact model. It's a small little sucker. I forget the model of it. It's a Hasselblad. And it was supposed to come out like a long time ago, and it just vanished. I honest to God, and I'm only speculating about this, but I'm about 100% sure Hasselblad said, screw it, can't compete with this, can't compete. Really, I mean, if you have two brain cells, would you buy, the super awesome $10,000 GFX 100? Or, something that's, radically more expensive than that with far fewer megapixels, no IBIS, clunky interface, manual focus. No, of course you would. If Hasselblad gave up, I swear to God, there is nobody on this earth that's talking about that camera which never made it to market that everybody was hyping. No one's talking about the first Hasselblad, that silver little sucker, which was really, really, really buggy and slow startup times and poor autofocus and octagonal bokeh, iris artifacts from the leaf shutter. No one's talking about them, no one's using them, and no one's buying them. And let me tell you something else, and this is important. It even shocked me. I told everybody this is my favorite camera in the world, and I said the reasons why. It's like, it's my favorite, and I listed the reasons why over and over again. I've had, I hope Fujifilm's listening to this, by the way. I've had thousands, I don't know how many, easily, I have to be honest, I can't be hyperbolic when I make this important statement, easily 2,000 so emails from people saying, oh, I picked up it was on sale, or I picked this up, I'm so happy with it, and questions, and a lot of people bought this camera, and they're all happy, and so am I. I mean, incredibly happy. It's a very simple camera. Yes, it is. Also, too, in the interview, I wanted to get to that, the guy interviewed the president, Toshida Ida, what's his last name? Toshida Ilda? I'm sorry, I forget the president of Fujifilm in Japan. So sorry. I kind of remember his name. I can't remember specifically. Anyway, I asked him, and he said they're making an effort to make it smaller and lighter. There is quite a bit of empty space in the GFX 50R. There is. I can easily, and I thought about this when I got it, over a year ago. I think it's been over a year. You could easily make this camera about 35 or 40% smaller than it is. You could change its shape to whatever ergos Fujifilm decides, but this camera can be, even, and I don't complain about it being too big. This is not a big camera at all. You get the hand strap for this sucker, by the way, which is made for the XT1. It's called the Grip Built GB001. Everybody has a GFX 50R should buy this thing. It's like 35 bucks at B&H or out of Rum or whatever. It's a hand strap so you don't drop it. I knew that they can make this thing smaller because I know how much empty space is actually in this camera. Yeah, but I was actually peeved when he said, can you make them cheaper? It's like, these are already insanely cheap. Medium format, Fujifilm is now making medium format cameras, GFX 50S and 50R, that are at the price of, like, used Nikon. Well, yeah. Well, actually, like, way cheaper than that. I'm trying to think what a comparison would be. Like a new Sony, which, who the heck wants that? Nikon D4S. I mean, I could get one of these for the cost of a Nikon D4S. Not that I want to buy another one, but point is that medium format now has gotten incredibly cheap. And everybody that owns one that looks at like a full 500, or depending on the 50 series sensor or the GFX 100 sensor, that looks at the files on a halfway decent display, is like, oh my God, this is it. I'm finally happy. Like, what else do I need now? And I've said this for years and years and years, and it was always a statement too back in photography school in the early 1990s when it pertained to film medium format, is that medium format is future-proof. I mean, you could already print enormous prints from medium format. Medium format is not made, even though the GFX 100 can do moderate sports and action, medium format is not made for hardcore sports action, obviously so. That means all the stuff that these cameras are awesome at is not going to change in the foreseeable future. A medium format has always been that way. So when you buy a medium format camera, you're not constantly stressing out like a computer. Like, I just bought this computer. It's like, yeah, it's obsolete. Really? It's like, I only bought it like 4 months ago. It's like, yeah, it's obsolete piece of crap now. And that's kind of the case with all crop sensor and full frame. They're always getting obsoleted with it. Medium format's not. So when you do spend money on a medium format camera, you're getting something that, as long as you take care of it, there's no stress to like, ooh, I got to upgrade it. Because if you can't crucify it with 51 megapixels in medium format, you can't do it with 102 megapixels from the GFX 100. So people that have the 50S and 50R, point being, they don't make, irrational conjectures within their own mind, like, ooh, I need to upgrade, now I need 102 megapixels. The image files from these cameras are just flat out unbelievable. They're just jaw-dropping, crotch-melting. They're the stuff. I really love it, and it still remains my favorite camera of all time. I waited a decade for a cheap, great, reliable, medium format digital camera, and here the F it is. And the only people in the world that have it is Fujifilm. They could have started charging a lot, put out this camera for a lot more money, but they didn't. And it's an affordable medium format camera. It's very affordable. I mean, you could get this thing in that 50mm 3.5 when it was on sale for half price for way less than the cost of a Nikon D850, just the body-only D850. Can you imagine that? This camera used and the 50mm 3.5 on sale, you could have got it cheaper than a brand new body-only Nikon D850. That is saying something. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely Easter. Yeah. I don't really celebrate holidays, but I know a lot of you do, so I hope your Easter bunny, I don't know what your Easter Bunny is going to bring you. Box of steaks? I want an Easter Bunny that brings... Yeah, Easter Bunny that brings a fruit basket and steaks. Yeah. My mind is wandering. So sorry. Happy Easter. Goodbye. Thank you.